howdy YouTube family. It is Bolt CRNA coming to you again with another day's topic. Today we're going to be talking about your personal statement. You're trying to get into CRNA school. Guess what? You have to write a personal statement. Personal statement is kind of what's an interesting little blurb about you that makes the program like you and want to read more about you and maybe extend you an interview to get into their program. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to write a personal statement and some of the key points you need to be hitting in your personal statement. Let's get into it. So because I've done a lot of mock interviews with you guys, I've read a lot of personal statements from you. I wrote mine, of course, myself back in the day, but I've seen and read a lot of other people's personal statements, and I've seen a pretty common thread and a theme through a lot of them. So I thought maybe, and I also get lots of questions about it, so I thought maybe today would be a good time to say, like, this is a good idea, this is not such a good idea, and maybe try and keep you away from some of the cliches and some of the things that might actually hinder you from getting that invite to interview. First thing that is the most important thing I feel like about these personal statements is they should be personal. Guys, they read so many of these things. This personal statement needs to be unique to you. It needs to be tailored to you in a way that it makes you stand out. It should have personality in it. It should have some charisma. It shouldn't feel cold and lifeless. It should be a background of what makes you tick, what makes you who you are. What's your background that's led you to this place where you're sitting here typing up a personal statement trying to go to CRNA school? Why does this matter to you? Why is this important to you? What have you been doing with your life to prepare you for this step? A good place to start with this thought is to try and analyze why you want to be a CRNA. What is it about being a CRNA that seems like it's worth all this effort? That you're going to do all this work, you're going to pay all this money, you're going to sacrifice all these years. Why? What is it about this that is that important to you? Figure that out. Once you can figure that out, that's going to let you kind of follow that thread back to the root of when you first wanted to become a CRNA and why you were so excited about it. What got you into it? And think deeper than you saw somebody who was doing a lot of cool stuff with drugs, meaning injecting drugs in patients, not doing stuff with drugs, but using pharmacology, using skills. You saw someone intubate someone. You saw someone look very autonomous and like they were just practicing really cool skills and thinking on their feet and very, very good at critical thinking. And you just saw someone doing really awesome stuff. And then you heard that they made great money and now you want to be a CRNA. That's very surface level. And I feel like there's a lot of people who start writing their personal statement and that's as far as they've gone with their thinking and introspection on the career is surface level. They're not looking for surface level. In that personal statement, if it's coming off surface level, they're just going to get bored and toss it. It's not even worth reading if that's all you're going to say, because everybody's going to say that in some form. Everyone has experienced that. So they're looking for deeper. Why does it matter that you critical think? Why do you care that you do a career that gets you skills and function autonomously for patients? Why do you care that you're relieving people's pain and that you're there doing nerve blocks and enabling them to have life-saving surgery? Why does that matter to you? These should be the deeper questions you should be asking, and you should be figuring out why that matters to you. Why not be a banker? Why not be an accountant? Why not be a science teacher? There's a lot of stuff you could do with your life that's interesting and cool that's not being a CRNA. That's probably a lot easier than this path. So you should be identifying what it is that's driving you to do this. Start writing that down, maybe just bullet points, brainstorming and bullet points of like this point, this point, this point, and then start focusing in on that. Then start when you're writing a personal statement, trace it back to why that ever was something of importance to you. And then start linking how you've been doing things in your life and steps you've been taking in your life to enrich those things, to follow true to that path, to align your destiny with that route. You need to be putting those things down there and how that your whole focus has been on getting to this point. And that's how you make it personal. Because everyone's going to have slightly different reasons and slightly different catalysts in their life that's caused them to be in this place that they're in now. And everyone's going to have slightly different paths they took to get to this place that you're in right now, writing this letter. So you want to kind of target those things, make them interesting, make them dynamic, give them some personality and charisma, focus on your spelling and focus on your paragraphs and your sentence structure. You don't want it to be looking jumbled or like it's a terrible mess, because they're looking for doctoral students to start their program, or potential doctoral students. So they're looking for people who have some baseline knowledge in research and writing skills, and the ability to use punctuation and spelling properly. So those are all things you should definitely make sure are done well. And I would say most of you guys do that most of you, by the time you're at this point, you've figured out how to do that. Next big thing is don't drone on. So some of you have gotten pretty good at figuring out how to make it personal and tracing it back to what drives you and your ambitions and stuff, but I have found that they're much too long. These personal statements should be 3 to 4 smallish paragraphs. They should not be long. I should not be reading more than a page to a page and a half. If I'm reading and reading and reading, and it's like you've written a novel for me, that's not good. That's too long. You have to remember, these professors who are reading these personal statements, they're reading hundreds probably of personal statements. They get lots and lots and lots of applications. Lots of people apply who they never even extend an interview to, and they usually extend an interview invite to a couple hundred people at least. So you have to think, that's how many personal statements they've gone through. They're busy, they're professors, they're probably working clinically, they're teaching classes probably full time. This is not their only duty, is to read through and try to admit new people for the next year. So don't spend a lot of time just beefing out this huge novel for them to try and read, because they honestly just won't read it. They'll start skimming through it, and then if you keep going, they'll just stop reading and move on. And so that's not a good thing. You don't want them to just give up midways into your personal statement and decide that it's too long and they don't have time for this. So hit the high points. Make it charismatic, make it personable to you, but don't drone on. And beyond that, I would say don't lie in your personal statement. Some people get a little tempted to elaborate and exaggerate, I should say, details in their personal statement about how they went to Guatemala and they did 6 months of mission trips for medical research there and all these things, when in reality it was much less than that, or they maybe did something that was not quite like that. And if you start lying in your personal statement, that could come out in the interview portion when they could ask you a specific question, or maybe they've spent a lot of time in Guatemala or something like that, or you say that you play the piano, the guitar, and the cello because you're trying to sound really impressive, when in reality you play Garage Band on the PlayStation 3 and you haven't even done that in 10 years, and you're trying to sound like you're very cultured and well-rounded and try and give yourself this boosting edge. But the problem is the professor may play the cello and may ask you a specific question about that in the interview. So if you ever get the inkling of maybe I should kind of fake an answer or come up with a lie about my personal history or about what makes me unique, and then they find out that in the interview they ask you about that because they find it intriguing or interesting and you've lied to them, that is almost a guaranteed no. They're probably going to turn you down. Even if you were a good application, they're probably just going to turn you down because they're going to find you unethical. That is a huge red flag in anesthesia, is any sense of deceit or unethical behavior or anything like that. That will be an automatic dismissal. They won't want that in their program. So never say anything in your personal statement about yourself or put something on your resume that you actually didn't do or only did a very small variation of something like that, and that really wasn't maybe you helped someone turn an ECMO patient one time and you write ECMO proficient on your resume. Not a good idea. That's a way to get yourself in trouble. So never try and oversell yourself in a way that you're actually lying to them, because they're pretty good at sussing out who is telling the truth and who's not. Dishonesty in a personal statement or on your resume when they're interviewing you, very bad. I can just tell you it's not going to go well for you. It's going to work against you. So try and keep truthful in those things. Well, all right, guys, those are some of my tips that I think will help you when you're writing your personal statement. If you have any specific questions, of course, hit me up in the comments below and I'll get back to you. You can go follow me over on Instagram. It's both CRNA over there. TikTok, of course, I've got some good videos and goofy stuff over there that you may like. It's also Bolt CRNA over there. And if you're looking to get into CRNA school and you're at this point, you're writing personal statements, I have the mentorship program on this channel. Go over here to the tab that says memberships and click on that. I have behind the scenes videos, I've got study guides that help you get ready for the interview process. I offer mock interviews to members over there. So if you're looking to do a one-on-one mock interview with me, we can set one of those up in advance. I usually take 3 to 4 weeks in advance before your actual interview date to schedule that, because I book up pretty far. But go over there, do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, that's Bolt out.